was saying it is really little tough post-lunch because, half of us feel like taking a nap and try and make sure that we at least enjoy. Now, important is, for me to make sure that none of you is able to sleep and take a nap, right? I'll ensure that part. I'll keep you engaged when I talk about all of this. We have been hearing about AI a lot. Everyone talks about AI. We use AI at all the levels. Let it be, I'm sure we started using ChatGPT. We now use Gemini, multiples of those. And the big part is when we use AI, normally I give a very funny example, I may write a mail. If I want to write a mail to Mr. Srish Berapure, I may write a mail using my ChatGPT or Gemini. And when it goes to Mr. Belapure and someone asks me, what have you written? I'll have to read it back again saying, oh, what did I really write in my mail? Because I'll just write something, it will generate a mail for me and I'll send it to him. And probably without reading the entire text, what is written inside. Also, there was a stage when people used to talk, especially in pharma, people used to talk about automation, right? And we moved from a stage where we started talking about robots. Me and Dharma were just, talking about an example. He was saying, I have a close to around 4,000 square feet house, let's say, ground floor and first floor put together. I've never gone to the first floor, last so many days, right? And then another example was saying, one of my colleagues bought a robotic cleaner saying, let it clean my floor on the first level, I'll take care of the second level later on. Now, imagine a stage when we are trying to move towards AI, right? How AI is AI going to transform what we do today? How many of us or how many of you are aligned with it saying, okay, AI is going to change what we do today in pharmaceutical industry or even otherwise also? Because we have heard robotic, people say surgery is happening. You believe in that, right? Okay, I could see a few hands going up saying, yeah, AI will change the world. I know, yeah, it is going to change. If we don't adopt it, definitely that change has to happen. If not today, tomorrow for sure, right? We keep reading about robotic surgeries. Yesterday I read one more which has come up which says robotic spine surgery, right? Yesterday only I read the news. It says robotic spine surgery. Now, we heard of knee surgery and these kind of major surgeries, but now it says spine surgery, which is very, which has to be very, very, accurate and, yeah, precision and all is very much required there when we talk about that. Now, let's look at what AI is going to do for us. I'll talk about one or two, because she's very particular in saying 235, I'll pull you down, so you can't exceed beyond 235. So I'll just read, It says from compliance burden to competitive advantage. How many of you feel, AI is going to be a competitive advantage for us? Can I see hands up? Okay. Not forcefully, but those who really believe in this. Okay. Let's look into, when you say the elephant in the room, which are the ones which are really bothering us if you look at from today's scenario of pharma industry. And being a CEO of a company, I'm sure people come across these three major challenges. It says regulatory pressure. You'll be shocked to see when I go to the next slide, when I say regulatory pressure, what does it really mean? Regulatory pressure means now number of unannounced audits are happening. Auditors just walk in, morning 8 o'clock, even we are not there in the industry, they'll walk in and say, oh, we are there to inspect you, right? And then 5 days of, you can understand how they look at you as an industry as if you are doing something which is beyond, which they can't audit to, which they can't look into. Cost pressure. API costs, margins have gone down overall at a overall level. Now people say 3% margin, 4% margin, right? And operating expenses are going up because of the automation requirements, one, because we have not reached the stage where automation is helping us in terms of improving our efficiency at an overall level. So that's one part of it. Speed pressure, right? It's like I've been developing products for 24 months earlier. It brought down to 18 months with the improvement. Now we say, let's try and say 12 months. expectations are, can we do it in 4 months? Someone said, yeah, it's possible, very much possible. But when we ask them, how do you do it? There are no answers to talk about. Someone says, oh, we can use AI. But how AI is going to help you in developing a product? And how is it really going to squeeze your timelines from 12 months to 4 months? Do you think it can do it? From 12 months to 4 months, product development timeline. Can it really bring it down? Greece is not in agreement. Okay. Probably, I'll show you an example where you'll start believing Greece, if not, not at this slide for sure. So I'm sure all of these three are keeping all of us awake, right? The senior leader sitting here will agree to this part. Why digital alone is not enough? LIMS, EBMR, we have heard this term, give us the data, but data is not the same as decision, right? These things we have been using, SAP, we have been using LIMS, we have been using, EBMR, multiple things we have been using. Someone says Caliber, this company, that company. We have talked about document management system, etc., etc. I got an opportunity to interact with Dr. Damu sometimes, and he was saying, it's fantastic to have digital system, but we still want to have something review on review, right? Where whatever has been generated by digital, can something really help us reviewing that also? Because that's the stage where we, example, it says EBMR. EBMR, we say, if it is EBMR, we say review by exception. It reviews only a limited part of the batch record. It doesn't really look at the batch record the way an auditor looks into, right? That part we normally miss out. Now, is that important or only review by exception is important? Answer is we should really look at the entire batch record and related documents which an auditor can ask for when he or she conducts an audit, right? Thousands of data points, 483 audit observations we are all aware of. I'll show you the trend, a shocking trend which says there are 3-4 areas which are kind of repeated every time, right? Investigation, cleaning, laboratory part of it. And we are not able to solve. Every year, any auditor comes, they'll give you 1 or 2 similar observations and go back and say, you have not improved on investigation, right? So these are few examples to look at. Limited human review capacity. When I started my career long back, maybe 38 years back, the batch record used to be 10 page, moved to 20 page, 50 page. We started feeling the heat when it came to 50 page. Now we talk about 400 page batch record. We expect the same individual to review the batch record, which is a 400 page, and we don't want any observation coming in from regulatory body also. Is it possible? Maybe for one batch record, yes. But if we have to review multiples of those, is it really possible? Practically possible? Answer is no, because there is a fatigue factor involved into that. And I'm sure with all of that fatigue factor, we'll not be able to do justice to what we are supposed to review. So that's on human capacity, right? And 100% target review coverage. Someone will, from quality, will say, I want even a comma full stop to be looked into when you're reviewing the batch record. Forget about the data. That's anyways, I'm expecting that's a granted thing you have to review without fail. But even comma full stop also you should look into, right? So human bandwidth to review 100% data and 100% of the time. At least my experience says it is tough. It's challenging. Can we find out a solution? Maybe yes. Will it really start working from tomorrow? Yes, but we have to move a step forward to look into what more need to be added along with the review, because even AI was developed by a human, right? So we can't leave everything on AI. The decision power still remains with individuals. So that's where I've been hearing a term says HITML, human in the loop, HITL, human in the loop, right? That's very much required. Recently, all of us saw an observation given to a cosmetic company which says the batch data was not reviewed properly, and AI review decision was done and they got a warning letter. And that was a shocking news for everyone in pharma industry. They picked up that part, when we talk about AI, they come up with that report saying, oh, see, look at it, the company got an observation, a warning letter. Because they were using AI, we don't want to use AI. Because they are hesitant now to look at AI. But did we use it rightly? Maybe no. Right? Can we use it rightly? Yes. How do we do it? See the examples when I talk about. This is the summary of human error. Is it visible? I know from my backside you may not be able to see, but I'll try and see if I can move a little bit. So if you look at these are the human involved into whatever we do. Errors percentage you can see. Application error. We know what to do, but something, happens in the execution which leads to error, right? That's possible. And it's happening, it's visible. And this is not my data, it's a white paper published. I picked up from there. So that's one part. Inconsistency error, right? Believe they know what to do and how to do, but variability exists in the performance or outcome. Obviously, it's there. And these two itself contributes what? 60% of the human error. And how many overall investigations which we conduct, we normally say invalid OS. The percentage is, what is the percentage of invalid OS normally? The data, anyone can tell me? 40, 50, 60, 70, where do we stand today? The data which is published, which says around 60% invalid OS, right? Because we're not able to find out the root cause. And we say, but when we go deeper, we will try to find out something which says, okay, this, probably in the process part there is an issue, in the QC part there is an issue, but we are not able to pinpoint towards human error. Right? That is also one of the major reasons which we are not able to look into and do justice to the investigation when we carry out the investigation. And same way, if you look at memory gap error, someone will say, okay, you have to wash this entire thing using high pressure cleaner. So someone will go up on the step and start washing a RMG or some other equipment which is at the height. Now it's washing properly with the pressure cleaner, etc. Now can that person note down the data, timing, start time, end time, pressure, etc. when he is on the platform? No. Now, and when the person comes down, how? He will pull up the pen from here, write on the gloves and come down because he still feels I'll not be able to remember everything. And that's right also. Otherwise, he comes down and if he started at 10:10, when he comes down, he'll write 10:20. But the closer time remains 10:30. And the validation says your cleaning time itself is 20 minutes qualified. How do you write 10 minutes here? It's not his problem. It's a system which is not able to support the people who are doing. Learning gap error. So these are the major ones which really, which you look into. If you look at from the data which talks about, this is the data published. I know you'll not be able to see, but I can help you read out for. Responsibility of Quality Control Unit. This is the one which talks about responsibility of the, so you can see 73, 66, 116, 97, 112, and 617 total. So these are the kind of repeat observations on this area. Same way if you look at production record review, written procedures and deviation, general requirements. So this talks about how many observations repeated how many times, last 4 or 5 years. So still we are not able to bring it down because of the multiple reasons around that. And in old data below, it says out of the 114 inspections which happened in India, out of those 94 were unannounced inspections. Right? Huge number. So the trend is changing. The requirement is changing. Right? The expectations are changing. So they walk in without even informing you. 40% of Indian USFDA approved plants received observations in 23. Just a old data. Warning letter, a bigger size company will have an impact of more than $2 million on average. Suppose a company of 20,000 crore or 30,000 crore. So, and out of that 20,000 crore goes to US itself. So you can imagine per day value, what it really amounts for. And if there is a warning letter, how much it is going to impact any pharmaceutical industry. Right? And market impact, 8,000 crore plus market cap, and it's across the 5 firms since 2022, it's visible, the data is available in the system. Okay. Now, when I was saying shift from digital to AI digital pharma, right? So we have been using digital at a larger platform. We have been talking about it at multiple forums. We have a lot of examples to look into, say LIMS, EBMR, and many other such things to look into. But is it really helping us? We call it as a digital platform, but is it really helping us give all the answers? Is it really, giving what we really expect an individual to do when the audits are happening? Maybe no. Can I use AI there and, make sure I get what an auditor looks into from a batch record point of view or from any other document point of view? Right, so AI as a guardian prevents DI and ensures Alcoa Plus. I'm sure all of us are familiar with the term Alcoa Plus. AI as a scientist. When we say scientist means what does it really do for us? Is it really developing a product for us? we are not using it today for development of the product, but it's going on now. Someone has started already, 2-3 companies have started already looking into if it can help in the product development too, right? It predicts OS. How will it predict OS? Let's assume we integrate AI with EBMR or MES system, right? Where we have EBMR and MES system. How is it really going to help us predict failure, right? AI talks about, so when you are integrating it, you will be able to get to know if there is anything abnormal. Let's say, take an example of oral solids, right? And we say predictive. So it looks into all the CPPs, right? If it will also go through your CQAs because the data is available, and it will predict you, and you have all the CPPs, and you see live data on your screen, on your PLC or HMI. You are able to see it on the screen. Now it can tell you, looking at that variability, whether that batch is going to have an issue going to the next stage. And it cautions you saying, granulation or an end point at the RMG stage, you need to correct it. If you don't do it now, there is a possibility you may not get a right compaction at the compression stage. You need to correct that part because the data supports all of that. And then you have done that analysis and all, so it can help you. So it predicts you, and that's where it acts as a scientist, because it will involve all the scientific rationale from it and pick it up and then predict failure for you. Same way for yields also. It will also say, while you do this, your yield may go down by 4 or 5% because your endpoint is not perfect. There is a possibility your yield may go down. So look into that as well. AI as an auditor, find gap before FDA does. I tried using it for a batch record. Submit a batch record for thorough review of the AI, right? And assume it was 1 year back. It used to give me an accuracy of around 88%, 90%, 92%. It was like kind of coached pretty well. And today we are at a stage where it gives me an accuracy of around more than 98%. Even looking into the OCR part also for AI. It gives you every single thing which an auditor looks into. Be it from ALCOA perspective, be it from GMP perspective, be it from any other perspective. And the biggest part is, which you can't do it in MES, you can load all your documents. Parallelly, it will run through all those documents, cleaning validation, process validation, master batch record, etc., and come up with a summary and tells you, here, things are wrong. Let's say, for an example, it says, your cleaning SOP or validation protocol says you will be using this much of pressure, these many liters of water, but actually you have used lesser than that. So it finds out those gaps also. So whatever an auditor looks into when he or she reviews in the batch record, AI is able to do that part. 3 biggest unlocks for 26-27, zero observation in QC. AI reviews 100% chromatograms. Have we tried it? Maybe not all of us. EM data, environment monitoring data, and BMR in minutes also. No human miss. Human, there is a fatigue involved. With AI, there is no fatigue involved, right? When we write a statement to look into in GI, Gemini, we'll say, Gemini, please look into this part. So we'll still call Gemini as, please look into this part. We are respectful always. So it does that activity for all of us and, comes up with a summary and says, here you're wrong, here you're wrong, here you're wrong. You need to correct this before you move to the next stage. And it also tells you, you need to initiate a deviation or incident login now. Otherwise, I will not allow you to go to the next stage. AI for sustainable API. It is being used into designing the green routes, right? And cut solvent waste. It gives you, it tracks for you and tells you why it has gone wrong, why consumption is more, how can you really improve on that. Predictive manufacturing, it predicts equipment, batch and stability failures, right? Equipment failure, we use vibration analysis, we use thermal imaging, all of these points, and we integrate it with. And it tells you, if you don't rectify, if you don't change the bearing, it is going to lead to a breakdown. That breakdown can, you can lose 6 hours or 8 hours. So challenge of adoption, one is trust. We still don't trust AI. And, we still go by whatever we see and say, oh, AI may or may not help us. How do I qualify my AI? Is it really going to give me what I want? Can I really take decisions only based on AI? No, we can't do everything. We can't put everything on AI. We also need to get involved. So we need to build that kind of a trust with AI, where we also get involved. We don't leave decisions on AI purely. Is our data clean enough? Clean enough means from all angles, right? Can I really look at the data? Is that data coming? Is it really picking up from the backdrop? And can I qualify? Can I validate? Yes, you can do that. You can go back, pull up all the information. It takes you to that sheet and tells you, you can always use your calculation and say the data is accurate. And culture, obviously, it's more of a usage. Will QA accept it? If not today, tomorrow they will have to accept it. How do we make sure that they accept it? Because it's not a compulsion, it's not a force which we have to apply and say, no, you should start accepting what I do in AI, using AI. No, we have to prove saying, this is how you can start, trusting AI, and I have enough data to support that. I have done a lot of validations, and you can look at my trend and all. It has really helped me go forward. So start with AI assist, not AI replace. Don't do it. Don't jump to that part immediately. And human approves. Human in the loop still remains. So you can't give decisions to AI, even if it is agentic AI. I'm sure you would have heard the term generative AI and agentic AI. Agentic is more of agent, so it so it works for different models and all, and it gives you, like, my decision is like this, right? I propose this, but decision ultimately lies with the authority who has to look into and give an approval for that. The future winners, the question is not if you will adopt AI. The question is who adopts in the first, in the market. So we can be the first ones to look into. The case study says, the top 5 API companies in Hyderabad, 0 observation goal in 9 months. That was the target taken. 3 FDA audits in 3 years, 8 last audit observation. This is the real data. 3 days QC review cycle, and 0 goal for next audit. That was the target which was taken by the company. I'll not name the company, please don't ask for it. Auditors found 1 missed OT impurity, right? And says warning letter risk became real. Management needed speed without losing QA control, right? They wanted speed, saying, can we really, go fast and do it? Mandate, build a defensible, repeatable QC review layer before US FDA. So that was the thought which was in the mind after this, these kind of observations were given. 45 days to live AI QC workflow. That was the target taken. AI Guardian scans 100% audit trail daily. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. And this was deployed. So it started reviewing every single point of audit trail. That's where you get the real data. If there is someone who is a culprit in the system, you'll be able to see the data live from there. AI reviewer reviews HPLC, GC data. I'm talking more from QC perspective because the observation was related to QC. GC data and calculates, F2, process mass, intensity, PMSI, etc. So all of this, it does that activity for you. And auto drafts OS phase in, 1 in 5. I was really surprised when I started using AI for investigation. Initially, I was like a bit apprehensive, saying it will not take me closer to what I need, because my mindset was in one direction. Whatever root cause I'm thinking is right, I wanted AI to go in the same direction, but that's not the right approach. There is a possibility, it can find something different which I was not able to find out. So let's trust AI and go scientifically, because it gives you scientific root cause and rationale, saying why I am saying so, this is the root cause. Why you should trust on my decision. And then you can prove it by analyzing. That's what we are supposed to do. If it says, yes, this is the root cause, now go and start analyzing, and you get the results, and then you'll have that confidence on AI saying what it does is right. So can I trust it? You should try and feed multiples of OS into the system, even OETs into the system, and then see whether it gives you repeatability, consistency. Does it take you to some root cause? Now, suppose I have to answer the questions as a part of my investigation. If I write something, first response differently, in the second response, again the same question, if it is given to me, I write a response but slightly differently. Will AI give me the same answer? Probably no, because I'm trying to play with that. If I write, if it makes the same sense what I wrote first, I'm sure it will give you the same root cause, right? So that's how we should be. People should be trained enough to make use of it properly. Live demo moment, you can see. Batch ABC, held risk score was 92, and high risk signal escalated before batch release. It was saying there is a possibility of error. AI command new unknown peak at RRT 0.87. That was AI, how it's supported. Not seen in last 30 batches. It suggests an investigation. This was AI, what it did, right? And then the peak flagged, new HPLC peak detected, pattern checked, not seen in the last 30 batches, and action triggered. Investigation suggested before release. This was how the AI was used into their case. And you can see results in 6 months for that organization at an overall level in the QC. What they achieved finally, 80% faster review. QC review time reduced from 3 days to 4 hours. That's a live example. It's not I'm sharing something which is, just for the sake of saying, no, it's a live example. 0483, fine. Target is not 0. Important is you should not get critical or major observation, but actually for them it was 0. They got 0. 1.6 crore value saved approximately by reducing the failure of a batch. 31% PMI reduction, which happened, right? So QC review time, 3 days to 4 hours, 8 to 0, 45 to 12 days, OS closure time, 4 years to 1 year, batch rejections coming down, approximate cost 1.6 crore for few, if the volumes is high, it can be much higher than what it is, much you can save, your ROI can be lesser than a year even months also, if you look into this part. So that's the beauty of using AI, and that's a real-time data. It's a case study which has happened. I'm sharing from that part. Key learning, start with pain. How to move AI from boardroom to accept QA practices. Start with pain. Don't do AI for AI. Start with QC review, highest audit risk. That's one area which is to be looked into. Data plus human. AI recommends QA at science. Trust built through human approval. Means we should not leave decisions to AI, but human approval finally should be the authority and the key to take it forward. The project paid for itself in 4 months via 1 batch saved. This is one example. Day 1 to 30, connect limbs. How you can start in 90 days. Practical roadmap. Day 1 to 30, connect limbs plus 1 instrument. Deploy AI Guardian in 1. So I'm just giving an example how you can use it. Day 31 to 60, go live. AI reviewer for 1 product. Just try with 1 product. Don't jump to all the products together. 61 to 90, run AI auditor simulator before real audit. So you get to know what kind of results it shows you, so that you can start trusting and you can have that confidence saying, I can put it forward for my audit. Any auditor coming in, I can always do that. So pilot with us means I can help you on that part. Okay. So the future of pharma is not man versus machine. It's the human judgment amplified by AI evidence. I can see her getting up. So let's build AI digital pharma together. I have one more use case. Maybe she'll knock the bell, say, no, you're not allowed to do that. But I am ready to take questions now. And if anyone can look at the slides also while you ask a question. Else you can hold all the questions for the next stalwarts coming here on the stage now for the panel discussion. You can ask them a lot of questions there.
Hello. Yeah. Sir, so if you look at any kind of the LLMs that we use, like a Gemini or ChatGPT, usually Gemini, ChatGPT say, like Gemini can make a mistake. So how really you're looking at this when really we are going to implement AI into the pharma?
So, when I look, see, there is an upgrade which keeps happening in any of the Gemini or LLM. There is an upgrade which is happening. That's one part of it. Secondly, when we coach our AI, important is to keep coaching till you achieve what you are supposed to achieve. Let's say, for example, we are reviewing a batch and we wanted an accuracy and repeatability or consistency in what we do. So feed it twice, thrice, till you get repeatable answers. What exactly it gave in the first instance, you get in the second and the third one also. So it means you have coached your AI pretty well, right? A few examples to look into. OCR is one big example, right? OCR, it says OCR is where we have a very bad handwriting. Something like doctor writes for a prescription, and whether we can read it, we normally don't. We give it to the chemist, and he just looks at it and says, okay, Dolo written. Whether it is Dolo or not, we even don't know. But he'll tell you the Dolo written, and you go ahead and all. But OCR is something which is very, very important for AI perspective, and it really reads even the bad handwriting which we are not able to read. So refinement has to be done to a stage till it starts giving you more than 98% and all. But some cases it cannot. So you should not expect 100% of accuracy, 100% of response coming in from AI in such cases. So that's how we should really try and coach. And when we qualify our system, this should become one of the challenge for us to build as a part of the protocol. No, 1.6, this was I was saying, the saving which they did. AI cost depends on what you say. Let's say, for example, you want investigation. Now, investigation may cost you around 2 crores or 1.5 crores or 2 crores approximately. Now, when I say 2 crores investigation, why should I really deploy? Now, if you look at from how many invalid OS you have, invalid OS data says 60%, 40%, 50%. Now, will this help me reduce my invalid OS? Even if it help you reduce it from 50, 60% to 30%, will it really make sense for me? Answer is yes, because you are not going to market that batch. If it is an invalid OS, you are not going to market that batch, right? You will discard that batch because you are not able to find out the root cause. Now, if this helps you, and which it does, I have seen it multiple times. I tried given multiple challenges, even for API product, even for formulation product. And you are able to identify a root cause and gives you step-by-step scientific logic and an approach. Even it goes into the human angle. It looks into your responses which you have given for those questions which have been asked. It also goes one of the example, there was an impurity in one of the product. Recently, I was just looking into. It asked around 16 documents I want to review 16 documents. It reviewed all the 16. 14 or 12 were provided. It says, no, I still need those 4 documents. Out of these 12 documents, this is my root cause. Then the other remaining documents were given. It went up to a stage where it started looking into, it says, I need NMR data also. Because I see an issue. Why I see an issue? Because there was a change control which was taken where the monitoring of the temperature frequency was reduced to 30 minutes. Earlier, it used to be 2 hours, but the monitoring of the temperature frequency was reduced to 30 minutes. Now it says, I still see a possibility because of this reason, I want to see the NMR here, right? And because the limit of the impurity given was, I think it was 1 or something. How much was it? Something like that. So it was saying the trend of last 30 batches was 0.003. Now suddenly I see an increase, it goes up to 0.095 or 0.099 also. So how that change can happen? While your change control says you have to reduce the frequency of monitoring of environmental condition. How is it really impacting directly? It means there is something else which is contributing to this impurity. So we need to look into that angle as well.
I was told that whenever you are employing the AI, it has to be applied entire. Means you can't do just fraction of the things, something like that.
Depends what exactly you want to pick up. Say, suppose you want to pick up investigation. And as an example, I'm saying, then you have to leave it on an AI to look into from start to end. You can't say, okay, you just review the batch record and give me whatever you find in the batch record. Rest part I will do. No, then it is incomplete. If you say batch record, I want to review the batch record, but I also want to look into the questions which are being asked to the individuals who were involved into that. Those answers has to come. I will review those answers also. Out of that, again, I'll have probing questions to ask again. Once all of that is there, then I'll look into the remaining data of whatever this batch has happened, right from process to quality control to everything. I'll look into all of the data. Then I'll give you a summary. So I'll relate all of that and then give you a scientific logic for that. In this case, you can't have half of it. You have to trust on AI means AI. But yes, decision has to be us. But it tells you, please analyze this part, and this is what analysis has to be done. If you do that analysis and your analysis is able to prove it, then it's okay. Then the root cause identified holds good. Yeah, Madhu.
Sir, generally there will be many small companies which are starting late in the whole. For those who have not invested much on digital so far, what is your advice for those small companies, how they can leverage AI?
They should not jump to AI straight away, because if they are not familiar with digital, what exactly comes through digital, jumping straight to AI may not really help them. If they have a pain point, let's say their pain point is to the batch record which is being reviewed is not up to the mark and they still find a gap there, right? They can deploy it only for that particular activity rather than jumping into investigation or predicting failures, etc., because they have not tested that earlier. They have not utilized EBMR, they have not utilized MES, they don't have LIMS, they don't have SAP, etc., etc. So they can't jump to that level. They can just pick up small things and start utilizing only that part. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you.